Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Chair Herman?
I am here.
Chair Hill is absent. Commissioner Clark is absent. Commissioner Garcia?
Here.
Commissioner Andriola?
Present.
Fire Chief Richard Edwards? Here. Deputy District Attorney Jennifer Gustafson?
Present.
And I'm Yvonne Strickland, Deputy Clerk. You have a quorum.
And now we are on to public comment.
All right, item 3 is public comment. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. However, action may not be taken on any matter raised during this public comment period until the matter is specifically listed on an agenda as an action item. The board will also hear public comment during individual action items, with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the Board of Fire Commissioners as a whole.
We have nobody signed in.
Okay, thank you. And now we will have Commissioners and Fire Chiefs announcements.
Item 4, Commissioners and Fire Chiefs announcements, requests for information and topics for future agendas. This is a non-action item. No discussion among commissioners will take place on this item.
Are there any announcements that you'd like to make?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of the team at TM for the incredible outreach they did for the communities with the parades that were conducted throughout the region. I got so many positive comments and feedback from members in the district that I represent, and just having that holiday spirit, the presence, and, you know, I think more than anything, knowing that public safety is our #1 priority, and you can't always just talk business without adding sometimes some Christmas cheer. So I think it really just makes our fire agency more relatable, more accessible, and more trusted. So thank you for that effort. I know it's a lot of extra work on top of everything that you already juggle and manage, but I do think it was an important part of the community outreach that we try to achieve.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Andriola?
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everyone. I, too, would like to just piggyback off of the comments that Commissioner Garcia just made. I had a great time riding for 2+ hours in the fire truck with Santa and seeing everyone in the district. And I also really want to recognize Chief Edwards for my understanding why I was in the 2 hours. I asked some questions and found out from Santa that you actually came up with the idea. So kudos to you for coming up with the idea. But I really also want to echo the big thanks to the team that decorated everything, and to the community partners, the Sheriff's Office and others who participated, and the spirit was just echoed throughout the entire trip. And coming back and having hot chocolate and seeing the presents, and it just makes you realize how this could expand every year. And I also would just add, I kept on thinking, because that parade was long in terms of all of the folks participating, and when I got home, I could actually hum, because I heard how a fire truck sounds. So I was telling, I kept on hearing for 2 hours, and I thought, wow, the neighbors must be going, what the heck is going on? You know, to see and to have them come out and probably think it was one thing, but it was Santa. So I really think it was amazing. Thank you for a great idea. Thanks to the team for just going over the top with your idea. And I look forward to next year. And I'm sure you have too received a lot of feedback. And I think it does send a message that we are part of the community and we recognize everyone in terms of the holiday spirit that we're all bringing and the joy and kindness that we all deserve. Thank you.
And Chief, would you like to give some information to us?
I sure would. Yes, thank you. I appreciate those very kind comments, and a big thank you to Engineer Shiro and Firefighter Dorr for making this a reality. We had an idea a couple of weeks before with the toy drive coming up. And they really took that and ran with it, and they knocked it out of the park. They did an incredible job for the community, and 5 nights of Santa parades to different neighborhoods. They collected a ton of toys for several different nonprofits here in the area, and we look forward to building upon that in the coming years as well. But a great way to get out and interact with our community and bring them into our firehouses as well, and give them an opportunity to meet their local firefighters, and I think that had tremendous value, and we look forward to doing that next year as well.
Madam Chair, may I ask Chief a question, if he could? Would you be so kind to share with everyone, just because the parade is over doesn't mean that the donations still can't come in, and the Truckee Meadows Fires Foundation is a place where people can still donate, and I thought it might be important to share that with everyone.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, they can still go to the Truckee Meadows Firefighters Foundation website. There's information on there on how to donate. And I believe the toy drive ends today for bringing their toys or unwrapped toys to a local firehouse or to an administration building.
Thank you all. And now we will have public comment. Pardon me, consent items.
Vice
You
Chair?
can tell I don't do this.
Just for the record, Commissioner Clark arrived at 9:06.
Yes.
So, roll call.
So we will have consent items now. Is there any public comment?
There's nobody signed in.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, I move to approve consent as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. And now we will take a vote.
That was Garcia.
We have, the agenda has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So I guess we're in sync. Thank you. The next item here was number 6, and we have the International Association of Firefighters.
Good morning, good morning. Vice President Jamie Rivera, Local 2487. Pretty much going to start with, I know we've had a heavy week for the last 2 weeks, going through some stuff, basically with their family. Not going to touch too much, but I really want to thank the administration for helping out. Everybody pretty much jumped on board and took care of what we needed to take care of. And then from now on, pretty much, we're going to be healing all together. I do want to mention, like, the Honor Guard. They did a great job, bringing one of our brothers back home with his family. I want to thank Shiro and Dora and the foundation. They've been helping out with the family, pretty much taking care of everything and anything, as well as doing the toy drive and stuff. So pretty much a lot of people are here helping out and just maximizing pretty much how less time they have with their families. I do want to thank our regional partners. They help out with the procession and also took care of our stations, Reno Fire, Sparks, Carson, Incline, East Fork, Story, NHP, Sheriff, RPD. They're all been a great help. At the end of the day, when anything like this ever happens, we all stand together and take care of each other. And that's it. So thanks for seeing you. Happy holidays.
And now we have the fire chief's report.
Yes, thank you. So this month we did receive 2 new brush engines, Type 5 engines, and those are currently being outfitted with equipment and radios, and hopefully those will be ready in time for fire season this upcoming year. I did want to give a quick update on our green waste recycling. It was a huge success. We had 894 loads of material brought in, almost 4,200 cubic yards, which is tremendous for reducing the fuels around their properties and so forth, so really reducing those fire risks as well. I do want to give a big shout out to Waste Management for their partnership and really appreciate that. They donated 16 dumpsters for those events, so it was very helpful for us to offload a lot of that material that we couldn't chip and recycle. Shifting gears here a little bit, big thank you to our operations teams within the TM, and then our counterparts over at Reno and Sparks as well. We have adopted 3 standard operating guidelines. over the last couple of months. Those include guidelines for incident command, personnel accountability, and then common terminology. And this is really the first step to really integrating our operations amongst all three agencies so that we can become more seamless on the fire ground for operations. So I'm super appreciative of everyone that's been able to do this. And it just helps us as an agency provide a higher level of service and a better level, more efficient level of service to the community. We're also going to be working on joint training to reinforce those guidelines in the coming months. And then overall, some of our run statistics for October and November. In October, we had 1,689 incidents. 861 of those were EMS, 22 of those were fires. And then in November, those dropped off a little bit. We're down to 1,657 incidents. 837 were EMS, and our fires dropped down to 17. So as the weather changes, gets colder and wetter, those fires decrease as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. That's very good. Chief, would you tell us about item 8, please? It's
Yes.
very exciting.
Absolutely, thank you. Item 8 is a recommendation to accept a grant from the William N. Pennington Foundation in the amount of $3,213,727 with a grant match component of $1,377,311 for the Priority Needs Capital Equipment and Apparatus Project that includes the purchase of 3 new Type 1 fire engines and corresponding loose equipment, mobile data computers, parts for the district-wide mobile computer upgrades, VHF portable and mobile radio replacement, and self-contained breathing apparatus, or our SCBA, upgrades and replacements. And if accepted, authorize the fire chief to execute all necessary documents to accept the grant.
That's wonderful. And this is for possible action. Is there any public comment on this item?
We have nobody signed in.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion on this?
I'll move to approve as presented, and great job.
Oh,
Madam Chair. Sorry about that, Madam Chair. I'll second with also giving our thanks and gratitude to the William and Pennington Foundation for coming through with such a generous gift. I know that they've been a critical partner throughout the region with a lot of different agencies, and I just wanted to put that on the record as I make my second.
okay, consent agenda. Oh, sorry. This item has been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And it's on your board. Okay, so
It passed 4-0.
Okay, fine. Thank you. All right, number 9. And Chief, would you read that, please?
Absolutely. Item 9 is a recommendation to accept Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District's audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025 as presented. Approve the reappropriation of $28,112 in the general fund, $2,747,497 in the capital projects fund, and $8,632 in the EMS fund for purchase order encumbrances committed in fiscal year 24-25, and authorize the district to proceed with the distribution of the financial statements for public record as required by law. And we have our CFO, Cindy Vance, to give us a presentation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Okay, I'm going to keep the presentation brief and then answer any questions if you want more detail. So also included in the package is a governance letter. It is a letter from our audit team, Ide Bailey, which Kurt Schlicker is here with Ide Bailey for any questions also. And the governance letter does describe how the audit went and any issues, so I'm proud to say there weren't any issues. There are some past adjustments, but no audit findings. Okay. And of course, in the package is a full set of the financial statements. The presentation, I went general funds, a little bit more detail on the revenues. And our revenues were just under budget by $716,000. As you can see, everything's very close to budget, which is about 1.4%. So it is just slightly under budget. And our expenditures were just over $2 million under budget, which is 4.2%. So that did give us a higher ending fund balance than anticipated. Much of that under budget is due to employee vacancy savings. So we'll see that in salaries and benefits. Our ending fund balance is $7 million. For the general fund, and that equivalent is about 2.6 months of expenditures. And we are, as you know, in the prior months' presentations, we're doing efforts to increase that fund balance so that it represents more months of savings and can carry us further into the next fiscal year, including with our fund balance policy that we adopted in November. Okay. The other funds included in our financial statement is the emergency fund, and that is under NRS can have up to $1.5 million in deposits to be used only for emergencies. Now, we have changed the way this fund is used. We used to run all emergencies, even out of district emergencies, out of this fund, but because of the cash flow needs, if we go to help assist at a different district, we actually use the general fund and keep these sources for in-district so that we always have a good set of cash on hand for an in-district event. And currently, our revenues were, for fiscal year 25, were just over 2.5 million, and our expenditures are 1.6, so it did grow by about $988,000. Much of that difference is due to the equipment policy that we suspended. So we don't see any expenditures in the fund for our equipment use, but we get the revenues back for it. Okay. The capital projects fund is about $12 million in revenues and sources and $7.8 million in expenditures, and that is Station 35 and Station 37. The revenues are much larger because we received the proceeds from the debt issuance, but we haven't spent them all for 37. The stabilization fund can only be used if revenues drop at a certain percentage, and that just really has about $500, actually close to $600,000 in cash in it. The revenues are just interest earnings, investment earnings, and there's some expenditures that are associated with that fund for the allocation of the investments. Our sick and annual comp benefits fund, this is a fund that we established to help build equity in so that when we do have payouts for terminations or other types of payouts, we have the money set aside and it's not completely run through the general fund. It is now running pretty much net zeros. We're spending everything we put into it. So we did have resources, which is just a transfer of $832,000. Our expenditures were about $904,000, so we used some of our fund balance for this year that came into the budget for 2026. Our emergency medical services fund, this is our one business type fund. It is full accrual, so it is meant to pay for itself. It does see all of its pension costs and OPEB costs put into this fund, but it also records all revenues regardless of the time of collection, where governmental funds you must collect within 60 days. This one you'll see full accrual. So all of our ambulance billings, net of what we don't expect to collect, are recorded in this fund. And as you can see, it is running at a positive about $1 million, which is good. The workers' compensation fund is an internal service fund, and right now it just pays City of Reno, which is for the heart and lung claims only, related from when we did the transition back to TMS standing up. So those any retiree that was considered a TM employee actually can come back and have a heart and lung workers' compensation claim. So currently we expect it has a little over $1 million in it. We expect that to carry for several years, and what we see as expenditures is just what we pay the city, and that can go up and down depending on the claims, but then it's also a claims adjustment. So there's an actuary valuation that the city of Reno does, and a portion of that is allocated as a claims adjustment expense, and then it gets investment earnings. So right now the investment earnings were greater than the claims expenses for fiscal 25. And then our debt service fund, which the revenues are just transfers in equal to principal and interest. And during the budget, those were based on just the 3 debt services, and then we issued an additional debt. So we had an additional $153,000 in payments over our resources. So those are, again, just principal and interest payments. And again, that was just a simple overview, but if you have any questions for myself or for Kurt, we can answer them.
Commissioner Clark, do you have any?
No, thank you.
Okay. And I think I saw you reach out.
Madam Chair, I do have a question, if I may. My notes from earlier this fall said that we'd really like to see ourselves at the 16% funding 16% fund balance range. You mentioned that we're currently sitting at $7 million. What is that percentage that we're at? Sorry to make you do math on the spot.
No, actually, I wrote it down in the staff report, so I can just grab it easily. It is 13.7.
Okay.
So we are, hopefully.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Andreola?
I just want to say thank you for always being very succinct in the presentation. I do have one question, though, and it's specifically related to the City of Reno that you mentioned in that fund. And I would imagine that obviously when that happened and TM was stood up, I don't remember the exact dates, but that was the cutoff. So as folks would be identified, hopefully no one, but if they are, that can come up who knows when. Is there a projection of when you think it would be not seeing any more new cases?
They can present at any time.
Okay.
So there's about 30, a little over, I think it's about 32 retirees that are in that shared City of Reno, Truckee Meadows fire. So any time up until their passing, really,
I
they can
didn't know
present.
how to ask that.
I know.
It wasn't very Christmas-like.
Yeah.
Didn't really want to put it that way, but you know what I'm trying to ask. I'm
Correct.
just curious, actuarially, what does that look like, and do you know? And if you don't have it, that's okay. Maybe you can let us know at a different time.
I can let you know. We do
Thank
have
you.
the actuarial estimate in there.
Thank you.
so.
We'll wait till after Christmas and not talk about such things, but thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Is there public kept?
We have nobody signed in.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve this?
I'll move as presented.
Thank you. This has been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It looks like we did a good job, and we're a majority here, more than a majority. All right, number 10.
All right, number 10 is a financial presentation on the status of the fiscal year 2025-2026 general fund and capital projects funds as of November 30th, 2025. This is a non-action item, and again, our CFO, Cindy Vance, is going to give us a presentation.
Okay. For this month, we were able to catch up since the meeting here is on the 16th, so we'll include everything up to November, where usually we're a little bit further behind because of the timing. So our current revenues compared to 42% of budget, which is our 5-month mark, is running actually just right at about 42%, which is good because there's certain revenues that are actually delayed, particularly consolidated taxes. So running at budget at 5 months, missing 2 months of consolidated taxes, so we're actually running a bit ahead. Our revenues, our property taxes, the bigger payments come in August, October, and then January and March. So really by the third quarter, we've collected a majority of it, and we don't see much in the fourth quarter. But with the, on how we are running a budget, we're running about 2% above budget currently through November on property taxes. Our consolidated taxes, we do have 3 collections as of November, and right now they're running about 1.7% above budget. So hopefully that continues. Our expenditures are running slightly under budget. There's detail by department that we've given you, but this looks at it just as the general fund as a whole. And we're running, salaries are about 39.8, benefits 35.2, and services and supplies at 25.6% of budget. And these, we do see our accruals, particularly for salaries and wages and employee benefits. Those usually are represented in here. There could be some different cutoff items that may come a little bit later, but these are running pretty much at 5 months. So them running under budget is a good sign. And that's some of the policies that we've put into place to cut some expenditures. Okay. The capital projects fund is, again, by project, and we did provide the details of those too. And quick summary, but if there are any questions on that.
Do you have any questions?
No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we're on item 11.
Item 11 is Commissioners or Fire Chiefs announcements, requests for information, and topics for future agendas. This is a non-action item. No discussion among commissioners will take place on this item.
And so, are we going to go to item 12 now? Or was there any comments that you might have?
I have a couple comments under item 11, if I may.
Thank you.
I want to start by saying thank you to Division Chief Shum and the grants team for the writing of the grant that was received today. That was incredible. It's probably one of the largest that this fire district has received from a private philanthropic group. And that, we don't take that lightly. That is going to help us tremendously to increase our ability to provide a high level of service with apparatus and the tools that our firefighters need to do their jobs day in and day out. So I'm very grateful for that entire team and their efforts to bring that to fruition. And then switching gears a little bit, this last week for Truckee Meadows Fire and our fire family has been very difficult. The loss of Battalion Chief Rizzuto and his wife Danielle impacted us tremendously. Just a horrible, tragic situation. And we really appreciate all the support from our partner agencies, from all of you, the community's outreach. It's just been incredible as the family and we heal as an organization. And I would politely ask that we close today's meeting in a moment of silence for Chief Rizzuto and Danielle. And that's my updates. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may. I have heard from a lot of people the loss is tragic, and I do think that, I know I have been sharing that there is a fund that's been established to help the family. And I wonder if you would be so kind to at least point us in that direction if people feel so inclined that there is a fund and 100% of those funds will go directly to the children that survived.
Yes, thank you for that. The Truckee Meadows Firefighters Foundation has graciously stepped up to receive those donations to help support the Rizzuto family, and 100% of those funds do go back to the surviving children to help them. So if anyone would like to make a donation, they could go to the Truckee Meadows Firefighter Foundation website. There's a link, a box to click right as you go to that homepage, and it'll take you right to the donation site. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other comments from board members? Commissioner Clark?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and our hearts go out to the family and to the whole department and all the first responders for that sad situation. I've got a couple of other comments. I'm apologizing for coming in late this morning. I had something come up that I couldn't get handled fast enough. But as far as commissioner comments, I'm very happy to hear that the green waste program was a big success. There was a point in time when that was proposed to be defunded, and I spoke out against that. And the reason being is the one way to have less fires is to prevent fires before they ever start, and let's take away the fuel component of fires. So that's a great success, and I think the community appreciated it because of the turnout. And so that and your efforts to have early and longer time to burn is going to be very helpful as well. People that live in rural areas have the opportunity to burn a lot of their green waste on their property, and saves filling the landfill, saves fires. There's so many good reasons for it. So thank you for having the foresight to do that. Next, I want to talk about we seem to have just an ongoing, every morning I wake up 5:30, I turn on the news, somebody gets shot, somebody gets stabbed, somebody gets run over. There's things happening all the time, and your folks are here to prevent fires and help put out fires, and it's tragic that your folks have to see this. We talked about it last week when we talked about somebody getting run over in Cold Springs. The next morning there's a shootout at Hallelujah Junction. Turn around and there's a tragedy within your department. I'm worried about the mental health of your folks and making sure that they have the resources they need to cope with that. Seeing some of this stuff, once you see this stuff, you don't forget it. I mean, it's there forever. It's in your mind, and some of this stuff you don't want to see, but your folks are tasked with seeing a lot of that, and the more crime and the more violence that we see, and your folks respond to that. So I would ask in the future for a report on stabbings and shootings and those kind of things that your folks, you're not law enforcement per se, but you're still first responders and you're there. And I want to make sure that we have adequate services for your staff. So I'd like to get those reports on what you respond to and what your staff responds to and what they're seeing out there as well, because it's got to have an effect on them over the long haul. So thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. Garcia? Okay.
For clarification, that report, would you like to know more about the tools that we have for peer support and mental health and well-being of our members?
Yes.
Okay.
I want the public to understand that what used to be considered firefighters' job is morphing into something completely different that people aren't used to seeing. They aren't used to seeing this when they're applying for a position with your organization.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, along those lines to the chief, I was curious to see how the firefighters utilized the peer support over the last couple of weeks. If you could take a moment to talk about the process, just so we're front-loading a little bit about what Commissioner Clark has requested for future presentations. But how did that come into play this week? How are those resources communicated? how often throughout the year are folks kind of reminded about these opportunities. And on a side note, I just hopped on to the fundraiser. They're still below 20% of reaching their goal, so I encourage everybody to hop on the website and give what you can so that we can make sure that those beautiful kids have everything they need to move forward in life, given the tragedy and the difficult circumstances that they face. This isn't just going to hurt for a year. This is going to impact them for the rest of their life, so I encourage you to donate.
Thank you very much to all of you. And you, Dan?
Yes, so to the commissioners, a question about the peer support resources. We do have a very robust peer support network here in the Valley. We have a peer support team within the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District. And then when a bigger incident happens, we also rely on our neighbors. So we had peer support members from Reno PD, from Washoe County Sheriff's Office, from Sparks Fire, Reno Fire, also come together and help with us and help get that message out and check in on our members and so forth to make sure that they had the skills and the services they need to help process the events of this last week and just make sure they're in a good mental space in their personal lives and then in their professional lives as well. We also had the International Association of Firefighters peer support team, their national team, come in and assist with us as well, which has been a huge help. As you can imagine, just the number of people that were impacted by this event. So we could look to continue to build upon that, and after this event, we'll look back on that and we'll meet with all those peer support members and look and see what did we do well, what can we improve upon so that we're always refining that process to make sure that we're doing everything we can for our members, because mental health and well-being is one of my top priorities for the organization. And it's not just something we talk about, it's something we live every day through actions as well. And we're also looking to bolster those services. And so when we give that presentation, we'll have a couple other big items to share with this group on how we're going to build that out in the future as well.
Thank you.
And I feel this is appropriate time now to give our minute of silence to the Truckee Meadows family members' loss. God bless.
Thank
you.
you.
And now we are in the last public comment.
So item 12 is a public comment, a non-action item. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. Comments are to be made to the Board of Fire Commissioners as a whole.
We have nobody signed in.
Thank you. And that leads us to adjournment. Thank you very much. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.